This is Sharon Bornholt with the Louisville Gals Real Estate Blog, and I have a reader question for you today. Actually, there's a couple of parts to the question. Um, the question has to do with confidence. How do you appear confident when you're anything but confident, when you're brand new? And my answer to that is you just kind of have to fake it until you make it. Now, stop and about it for just a minute. When you're confident, you generally sit up straight or stand up straight, and it is portrayed in your voice. And actually, this is something that you can practice doing. You don't want to appear meek, you don't want it to appear like you don't know what you're doing. So you just have to put on your confident face and either talk to the seller on the phone or go out and meet a seller. Now, it's important if you're meeting a seller and speaking with a seller face to face that you look into their eyes, that, don't do this kind of looking away when they talk to you, kind of like that. So look them straight in the eye and give them your answer, even if they ask you a question and you don't know the answer, which was the second part of this question. What do I do if a seller asks me a question and I don't know the answer? How do I handle this when I'm brand new, I'm not confident, and I don't know what to say? Well, the short answer is they're not going to ask you anything that you're not going to know the answer to in almost every case. They're going to be asking you questions like, how does this work? What's your process? How soon can you close? These sorts of questions. If you ask them about all of the stuff in the house, they may ask you if you can clean it out. A better solution to that is to just offer to clean it out. Bring up the fact that they might be overwhelmed by the mess in the house. But in almost all cases, it's going to be a question that in some way relates to how quickly can I get my money and where do I get it? So I always close at the same closing attorney's office. And I tell them this, I will tell them I always close at this company. And the reason I do that is because everything is so smooth. They give us an affordable rate, but that's certainly a plus. But the big thing is that if any glitches come up, they can handle them. That's all they do is real estate closings. Now, if they were to ask you something like, something maybe you hadn't thought of, like, is this house in a floodplain? Maybe they inherited a house or it's an absentee owner and this is something that they've just become aware of that could be a potential problem. Unless you've looked it up, and this is something you should always look up, is whether or not the house is in a floodplain. In my area, you can go on to floodplain determination in the county, I believe is the way you look it up. And it'll just pop up and you can choose the right link and go over there and put in your information. But let's say that was the question. Your seller inherited a property and there's a creek down the road, or maybe there was no particular reason that they were asking the question, but they just heard about floodplains and you don't know the answer. Well, the simple thing to do is say, I'll have to look it up. You have to look up each property and I'll do that and get back with you. But don't think they're going to ask you some mysterious questions. Know what your process is. I'm going to look at the house, go back and figure repairs, and I'll call you tonight or in the morning, whatever your process is going to be. You can't say I'll call you in 3 days, because if it's a good deal, it will have been gone 2 days ago. But just tell them quickly what your process is. I always address the fact that in my contract, I put in that the contract is subject to partner approval. Now, the reason I do that is because I always have a money partner. There's someone going to be bringing the money to close on the deal besides me. I just go and collect money. I don't actually bring money. So I always explain that part of the contract because I know it's going to be an issue. And I say it just in that way. And I can tell you it's never been an issue. But just try to anticipate if there's anything strange they might ask you. If you think it's someone that might ask you about school systems, you could look, school systems, you could look that up beforehand. But since you're going to be dealing with investors, those types of questions aren't even going to come up. And any question like that, you could always find the answer to. So I hope that helped to put some of your fears to, over to the side. talking to sellers is really pretty straightforward. And like I said, you just got to stand up straight and fake it till you make it. Fake it till you feel confident, and one day you just suddenly will feel confident talking to sellers. This is Sharon Bornhope. I appreciate your questions. Just send them over to the Louisville Gals Real Estate blog, and I'll be happy to answer them.